has delivery, she has her baby, she gets her baby, and you would think all is supposed to be happy, joyful, everything is good and everyone is excited. Daddy is happy, mommy is happy, parents, in-laws, everybody is happy. And the woman does not understand why she is not excited. Some feel like they're not doing their best. Others feel like, how can you have a child and act as if you don't want to have anything to do with the child? Act as if the child is a problem. Act as if you did not even want to get pregnant in the first place. Some will not understand. Some will criticize you. Some will call you an unfit parent through something called postpartum depression. A lot of women go through this. Quite recently, it is becoming popular. People are talking about it, but majority of people still do not talk about it. Majority of people hide because they are ashamed, because they are thinking that their bodies are betraying them, because they are thinking that society will point fingers and laugh at them. We are going to look at this very serious topic, and I know it is going to be educational. So I want you to tell a friend to stream with us on Hope TV Ghana, Facebook and YouTube. And because this is a very interactive conversation, I would like you to leave your thoughts, your comments and your suggestions in our comment section so that we can all have a comprehensive conversation. My name is Evie, the host for the show as usual, and we are going to look at today's story. But before then, let me introduce my panelists to you. To my right, that's immediate right, I have Dennis Sechi Opoku. He is a clinical or medical biochemist. Dennis, how are you doing?
Thank you, madam.
Can you speak up for me?
Thank you, madam.
So the name is Evie.
Okay.
So yeah. I need your macho voice. You
Okay.
sing bass or which part do you sing?
Oh, I don't sing.
You don't sing. For the purpose of this conversation, find your bass for me.
Okay, please.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How has your week been?
It's been nice.
It's been nice, eh?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far, so good. That's nice to know. My week has been something some way. So it's good to know that yours has been nice. So next to Dennis, I have Laura Nyako Ekwama, who is a mental health nurse. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How has everything been?
By His grace.
Your week? I need your soprano to come up.
By His grace, everything is going on well.
Yeah. I see that you're wearing an SDA hospital.
Yeah, I work there.
That's where you work?
Yes,
oh,
please.
Okay. And you're a mental health nurse.
Yes.
Is your job difficult?
No, I wouldn't say it's difficult.
It's because it's a calling.
Yes.
It's a calling.
It's a calling.
Yeah. So you have a passion for it. Thank you for what you are doing though, because it cannot be easy. So good job. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so you just met our panelists, Dennis and Laura, and we are going to look at the story entitled When Motherhood Feels Like a Lonely Prison. So clearly from the beginning of this episode, you have an idea what we are going to talk about. So let me go straight into the story and then we can have the conversations. It said, Dear Real Talk, I don't know who I am anymore. I used to be full of life, laughter and dreams. When I got pregnant, I was overjoyed. I imagined myself as the perfect mother, holding my baby with a big smile, feeling nothing but love and happiness. But now, after giving birth, I feel like a stranger in my own body. The first few weeks were exhausting, but I told myself it was normal. Sleepless nights, endless crying, adjusting to breastfeeding. I thought I was just tired. But as the days turned into weeks, something felt wrong. I wasn't just tired, I was empty. I would wake up in the morning, hear my baby cry, and feel nothing but dread. I would hold him in my arms, yet he felt like a stranger to me. I was supposed to love him, right? So why did I feel so disconnected? My husband, the man who was supposed to be my support, is thousands of miles away on a peacekeeping mission. He calls when he can, but what can a phone call do? He doesn't see the sleepless nights. He doesn't hear the baby's cry that pierce through my soul. He doesn't see me sitting in the dark, tears streaming down my face, wondering if I am a terrible mother. I have no one. My mother is gone. I have no siblings. I haven't slept in weeks. I barely eat. My body feels weak. And then there are the thoughts, the dark, terrifying thoughts that I am too ashamed to say out loud. Thoughts that whisper, maybe they would be happy off without me. Maybe if I disappeared, the pain would stop. Evie, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is this what motherhood is supposed to feel like? Why does no one talk about this? Why does no one warn us that sometimes you don't feel the love instantly? That sometimes you don't even feel like yourself anymore. I am scared, Evie. Scared of what I am becoming. Scared of what I might do. Please help me. How do I find my way back? This is a very sad story. This should be one of the happiest times in her life, you know. Hey, the sleepless nights, the crying of the baby. This story, is it familiar? Is it something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and is it common or is it becoming common?
It's very common.
It is very common.
Yeah, the only issue is that people are not aware of it. Yeah, but it's very common.
It's very common.
Yes, please.
So the lady that sent the story, clearly you are not alone. You're not the only one going through this. Your body is not messed up in any way. This is common. A lot more people are going through it. And I'd like to thank you for even having the courage to send your story through, because someone will listen and identify and say, this is what is wrong with me, and that it's a condition that I can work through. I do not have a problem that is unsolvable. So Dennis, what is postpartum depression and how is it different from normal baby blues? You know, sometimes when the baby comes, because you are tired and you are breastfeeding, sometimes you are not happy. It's like, oh yeah, it goes. Yeah. But this one, it looks like it's staying. It's like a cloud, a heavy cloud over your head that is not lifting. What is the difference between that and baby blues, so that people know that you can, yes, it's not that immediately you start feeling down, then you have postpartum depression. But there is actually a serious condition called postpartum depression.
Okay, so in order to understand what PPD means, we need to destructure the medical term.
Okay.
So let's start with post. So we already know that post means something that happens after a reference.
Absolutely.
Then partum. Partum just means gestational pregnancy.
Yeah.
Then we have depression, which is a mood disorder.
Okay.
So bringing everything together, postpartum depression is a mood disorder, a major depressive disorder that occurs to newborn mothers or new mothers. And it sets in, I think, about 2 weeks to a month after childbirth.
Okay.
Yeah, and it affects their mood and their daily operation or functioning as an individual. And unlike baby blues, PPD is quite persistent. It is not just a phase. That is one key distinction we need to understand. So the PPD, whenever a woman gets pregnant, there are certain hormones that gets elevated.
Okay.
So you can have hormones like cortisol, progesterone, and estrogen.
Yeah.
It's necessary for the development of the baby. Whenever the lady gives birth, there's a sharp decline in these hormones.
Okay. Okay.
So we mostly throw the term around that she's going through hormonal changes, but what actually happens is that anytime those hormones drop, that there's that sharp drop in those hormones, the body needs to react. And these hormones are hormones that control certain neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and these are necessary for mood expressions and regulations. And
the
amygdala. Yes.
I'm not sure about it. Yes. Dopamine.
Yeah, so you have dopamine, GABA, and serotonin.
Okay.
So there's also a part of the brain called amygdala that controls mood and regulates expressions. That's emotions. So whenever there's this sharp drop in these hormones and these neurotransmitters, there's reduced regulation of emotions. So you see that the mother is quite anxious, she's irritable, and even her ability to process logic is impaired. Okay. Yeah, so basically that's what it is. And with blue, that one is transient. Okay. Transient means it's temporal. Yeah. So that one resolves within 2 weeks after onset. And that one is primarily due to the sharp decline in the hormones. So with that one, after a few weeks, the body readjusts to these hormonal drops and the person is okay. But PPD is persistent. Yeah. It can last for several months to several. Some people don't even get over it completely. Especially when they don't seek help. Yes, exactly. And they are unaware that that is even what is going on. It's going on. Yes. It's going on. So that's the difference. Right. Thank you so much for giving us that difference between baby blues and then postpartum depression. For the purpose of this conversation, anytime you hear PPD, we are referring to postpartum depression. Laura, how common is PPD? And why do you think it's often misunderstood in the Ghanaian society? First of all, have you, being a mental health nurse, have you come across it? Yes, please. How common is this, and why is it that the Ghanaian society just misunderstands it? They say, oh, I've heard the most ridiculous things of the baby that she gave birth to is water baby, so if she doesn't do amambre, the spirits will torment her till she goes mad. I've heard that before. Yeah. The most craziest thing. But why do you think we are not educated on it? How common is it in your line of work? Have you come across it? Just give me your take on it. So thank you for your question. So per research, I think 10 to 15 people develop BPD after birth. Out of how many people? The percentage. The percentage. Oh, 10 to 15%. Yes. Hey, okay. So when you go to the low developed countries like Ghana, Nigeria, per research, they say that 30 to 40 people develop PPD. Almost half. Because when you see the well-developed countries like America and Italy and West, when you give birth, the government takes the child as their own personal. So within 2 weeks, the symptoms and the signs has to go away on its own without treatment. Right. So the PPD, you need treatment, you need psychotherapy and others. So if you consider that as baby blue, you just ignore it. That is just normal baby blue. Yeah. But PPD needs attention. It needs treatment. It needs psychotherapy and others. And some will say that it's only women who it's always affects with PPD, but men also do. There's postpartum depression for men? Yes, for men. Okay. Let's take, for instance, SHS graduate has impregnated a woman. The person is not financially stable. Yeah. So definitely he or she will go through how to care for the child. Yeah. Where is the money? How is the person going to take care of the baby? So in that case, for the man, it's not the hormonal changes. It's more of stress and being overwhelmed, anxiety and stuff. Okay. So there are a lot which we misunderstood by the PPD, and people say PPD is not treatable. It's just it's just a normal thing to go, as you said, say in Suba and but it's treatable. We have to treat it. There are lots of medication and psychotherapy, such as the cognitive behavior therapy. It's a steps that they go through so that the woman will
be able to come on yourself.
Okay. What are some of the warning signs, Laura? Like, if I am a new mother and then I start feeling not so great, I don't want to touch my baby, I want to harm myself. Like, what are some of the warning signs that will make me know that no, go and seek help? This is not looking like it is regular baby blues. Is it when the 2 weeks has lifted and it is still happening? Are there any specific things that when you see will alert you that no, this is PPD and not just feeling down just because you're tired or your hormones have
changed? So there will be maybe isolation.
Okay.
You isolate yourself. Your baby will be there, but you isolate yourself from your baby, and you lack personal hygiene.
Okay.
Instead of you to groom yourself, take your bath, your shower and stuff, so you ignore yourself, you ignore your baby, because at that time you are going through a lot. And also you realize that your body is not well kept. You feel that there are so many anxieties and stress going on within your body at that time. So you don't have enough time for yourself, and there will be mood swings too.
Okay.
So you heard of bipolar mood swings. You see that this time the person is happy, the other time too the person will be sad. He doesn't want to talk to anybody, but there will be a time that the person will be extreme happy, and a time will come to the person will be extreme sad.
Yeah. I see. Dennis, any more on the
to add up to what my sister said. So a very key item in PPD is depression.
Okay.
So to answer your question, how does somebody know maybe this is baby blues or this is baby? The difference is the depression.
Okay.
So depression is different from being sad.
Okay.
So we use it loosely. Sometimes I'm sad, I'm down, and you are not depressed.
You're just sad.
If you were depressed, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't even say you are depressed.
Yeah.
So the key word is depression. So what do you mean by depression? So one major characteristic of depression is despondency. So what do you mean by that? Despondency is like a state where you feel dejected, like low spirit. You don't feel like doing anything. Like the will to live and carry on ceases to exist.
Wow.
Yes. So as a mother, after a month of childbirth, if you start having that feeling, they know that something might be wrong.
Yeah.
Another key telltale sign of PPD is mother-child bonding impairment.
Okay.
We have in our culture, we say bad time and mother.
Yes.
But in PPD, it ceases to exist. It's very difficult for you to even bond with your kid, with your newborn baby.
Yeah.
So that's a very key characteristic of PPD. Yeah. And you also have anhedonia. That's the absence of happiness. Like nothing is wrong with you, but you're not happy. And it gets to a point where you feel like, okay, you tell yourself, probably this baby will be better off without me. So let me end it for myself. It's a characteristic of PPD.
Suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, suicidal thoughts, not just for yourself, but even for the baby. Sometimes you also feel like, okay, this is the baby that's causing me the issue. So one thing you need to understand is depression. When you are depressed, it's like there's a hidden voice behind your mind that's telling you to do something because you are in pain. I don't know where the pain is from.
Yeah.
So there's something behind your mind. Okay, end it all. That's where the suicidal thoughts come. Okay, so then just terminate everything so that all of this ceases to exist. So when you start feeling anhedonia, melancholy, suicidal thoughts, and despondency, dejection, then after a month and the symptoms have not resolved, then you should know that probably you are developing PPD and you need to seek medical help.
That is so good to know. I mean, there are so many things that we have explained that way. Oh, I didn't sleep too much. That is it. Oh, I probably have a headache. Oh, the baby is just crying so much and I'm not used to new babies in the house. I'm a new mother. And we think, again, you tell somebody, oh, it's normal. Every new mother will feel that way. But when, clearly, as Dennis and Laura are saying, when it persists and there is signs of suicidal thoughts, not just for yourself, but for your child, isolation, not having the will to live, all of that, just know that something deeper is going on. We'll have to go for a quick break. When we come back, we are going to look at the impact of isolation on new mothers and how this affects their getting out of PPD. We'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. This is Real Talk.
Hope channel is my favorite Christian channel. The best thing about it is that you can have it everywhere you go. All you need to do is to download the Hope channel app on your Play Store or Apple Store and get all the programs you want to watch.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk. Today's episode has been nothing but very educational. We are looking at postpartum depression, PPD, and I have Dennis and Laura with me. Dennis is a clinical or medical biochemist, and Laura is a mental health nurse. And we are looking at how serious this condition is, how to differentiate between PPD and normal baby blues, or just normal sadness here and there after having a child. And we are also going to look at the impact of isolation on new mothers. Dennis, how does the lack of emotional support, because from the story she said, my mother is dead, I don't have any siblings, my husband too has traveled going on peacekeeping, so she's by herself. So I want to know if this can be has contributed to her condition. So how does the lack of emotional and physical support affect a mother's mental health after childbirth, and evidently leading to postpartum depression?
Okay, so PPD doesn't actually have a cause.
Okay.
Yes, it has risk factors and amplifiers.
Okay.
So the risk factors, I think later on we address that.
Okay.
But related to this question, I think it is about amplification. Mm-hmm. Even in the absence of PPD or baby blues, whenever you experience something new, you get overwhelmed.
Yes.
And when that happens, sometimes you need assurance, you need reassurance, you need somebody to tap you on the shoulder that you're okay, it's normal, everything's going to be fine. Yeah, so once that is absent and there's isolation, it amplifies the distress and overwhelming the person's already experiencing. Yeah. And for somebody that is already experiencing PPD, this throws the person off a cliff. Because even if you have PPD and there are people around you talking to you and all those things, it necessarily doesn't make it better or even cure it. So imagine that is not even there. Yeah. Yes. So isolation is like, it just throws the person off a cliff. So that's why whenever someone gives birth, we need to make it a point to also mother the mother. She's a mother already, but the new mother also needs to be mothered. We watch videos and we have this illusion or creation of how childbirth and motherhood would be like. It's so perfect. So when she goes in and she says, nah, it's not. It's like it's a whole lot of stress and yeah, we get overwhelmed. So we need to give them that support. We need to connect with them and give them the assurance that no matter what they are going through, they are not alone, and it's okay for them to feel that way. But everything will be okay. Everything will be
okay. You mentioned that risk factors. I just want you to touch on it briefly before.
Okay. So when it comes to PPD, just like most psychological or mental health issues, we don't really have a cause. Maybe you can point out, okay, if you do this, you get PPD. If you no, it doesn't work that way. But I have risk factors. The risk factors are situations or events that predisposes somebody or increases the likelihood of somebody developing an illness condition. So for PPD, we have personality traits.
Okay.
So if an individual is highly neurotic, the person has a likelihood of developing PPD after childbirth. So what do you mean by highly neurotic? What I mean is that highly neurotic individuals are people that have a predisposition. They are inclined towards chaos, emotional chaos, pessimism. Okay. And mood swings, overthinking.
Worst case scenario.
Yes. So is it that we have certain people now, even the little thing, the little issues that happen in their life, they overestimate that threat. Yeah. Yeah, because naturally they are drawn towards that negativity. Yeah, so that's what I mean by highly neurotic individuals. So if you are such a person, then it also increases your likelihood. We also have stresses. So stresses mostly occur during the delivery process. So let's say a mother is going to give birth and she needs an emergency cesarean section. If she has that, and she also experiences a near-death event during childbirth, it also increases her likelihood. Okay. And we need to stress on these points because as a partner, if your wife goes through some of these events, then you'll be on the alert. Yes, to look out for signs and symptoms of that. So another thing also has to do with previous psychiatric history. Okay. So people that have experienced depression itself before are also predisposed. People that are suffering from mental conditions like bipolar are also predisposed. Yeah, I remember Laura. Yes, so if you have these conditions prior, it's also, and we also have, I wasn't ready for the pregnancy. Oh. Yeah, it's more of a cognitive dissonance because if you weren't ready, yeah, but then it happens. It is what it is, Dennis. So these are some of the risk factors. Yeah. And we need to, it doesn't necessarily mean that if somebody has this or experiences some of these things, then they will definitely, but then it increases your chances. And we also have, the last one I want to touch on is difficult pregnancy. So pregnancy, the 9-month period is different from every woman. Yes. So we have a condition like hyperremesia gravidarum. The throwing up, someone will call it severe morning sickness. We have preeclampsia where you have like high blood pressure and those things. Even gestational diabetes can predispose you to some of these PPD. So if you're a man, let me talk to my fellow men. Talk to them. If you're a man and your wife goes through some of these things, you should be on high alert. Yeah. Also, if you know that your wife is highly neurotic, you should be on alert. Yeah. And please make sure that during pregnancy and after, anything that destabilizes the mental peace of your wife is curtailed or taken care of. So none of this might be present, but before the childbirth, if there were financial issues, she might overthink it. Yeah. If there's conflict in the marriage, she might overthink it. So from onset of fertilization till she gives birth and she stops winning or whatever, please make her life as perfect as possible, even if you have to fake it. I like you, Dennis. I like you a lot. I like you. Thank you for that message. But Laura, I'm going to come to you and then I'm going to ask. But before then, Laura, before I come to you, Dennis, you mentioned new mothers. Is PPD more prevalent in new mothers than mothers who have had prior? Yes, please. Okay. Very much. Okay. Because if you've given birth before, then you know how it feels like. Yeah. One huge issue with the new mothers is that before you enter into anything, you already have preconceived thoughts of how it should look like. You're going to read books and watch movies. Watch movies. Anytime somebody gives birth, they say baby shower, everybody is happy, you are nice, but no, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. So once you've given birth before, you know how it feels like. So once you go into it again, you are not that overwhelmed. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. It makes much sense. Laura, family and community, what role must we play in helping reduce the chances of postpartum? And even when postpartum comes in, how can we support the mother? Dennis mentioned something about mothering the mother. How can we support the mother to help her go through it? Because I've seen instances where the woman
is clearly going through something, whether it's PPD, and she's just quiet in her corner, and either her mother or her mother-in-law is saying that you're not the only one that has given birth, you can't you hear your child is crying, get up and go and feed the child, why are you using formula, can't you breastfeed? Maybe they are not finding the bonding, why are you breastfeeding the child, and you are looking like so many complaints. How can the family and community come together to support a mother who is going through this?
You know, so per our story, we realized that the woman's husband wasn't around.
Yes.
The man was far away.
Yeah.
So assuming the man was to be around, I think the man has to take the position of the lady's mother.
Yeah.
Take care of the child. Maybe mostly at dawn, you see that the baby will be crying 1 to 2. So the husband will be there to take care of the child at that time, so that the lady will have enough rest. So when it comes to breastfeeding like this, we have the hormones that produce breast milk. That's the prolactin. So if the woman is not having that sound mind, the woman is not having like eating raw, how can the woman produce the breast milk for the baby? So if I think the family wise, though the husband is away, but the husband can let maybe the auntie or the other siblings step in so that they will help the lady.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the community, for instance, to the community, we have maybe chief and elders there. They can create some deba so that they will make awareness of PPD, because most mothers are going through, but they don't know. But when it comes to our facility like this, with depression. So if you are going through that instant, you know how to psych your mind. We had a case, for instance, when the man was expecting, I think, a baby girl.
Oh, Lord.
The woman has given birth to 2 boys already. So the man was afraid that if the woman gives birth again, definitely it's going to be another boy. So according to the woman, the man didn't care for her since day one till she delivered.
Oh.
But being so good, she delivered a boy. That is where the care started coming in. So assuming it was the other way around, what would have happened?
Yeah.
So the support needs to come in, no matter the gender of the child. You have to accept it and take your responsibilities.
And we have to educate the men. The gender of the child is solely your responsibility and God. I mean, a woman cannot do anything about it. With my little biology that I remember, X chromosome, you have the 2. If you're giving me your X, I'll give you a baby girl. If you give me your Y, I'll give you a baby boy. So if you keep giving me Y and I keep giving you boy, how is that my fault?
So assuming the woman was not financially stable.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Watch These Signs only on Hope Channel Ghana.
Like in the book of Macbeth, it said, be the innocent flower, but the serpent underneath it.
And here the Bible says Satan is disguised as an angel of light. So we hear, oh, Jesus, Jesus. So you think that because they are mentioning Jesus,
you might think that is Jesus.
That is, you found Christianity.
You are in the den of Satan. Because of what is happening in the world today, the wildfire of occultism that is spreading. That is why reigns of ministers are becoming very, very, very controversial, and yet people are using it. The source is not from the Bible.
This show Bible discussion is not just for people who profess Christianity, but for all of us.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. If you just joined us, you have missed a lot of the conversation. We have learned a lot. I have learned so much from this conversation on PPD, postpartum depression. And we have been having this conversation with Dennis Sechi Opoku, who is a clinical medical biochemist, and Laura Nyakon Ekwamwa, who is a mental health nurse. Now, Laura, you're talking about your first child and being by yourself. How did you manage that? Did you have like your mom or your mother?
Fortunately for me, my mom was around.
Okay.
So she was doing eventually everything.
Oh, that's nice.
So I was taking it, I was having enough rest. You know, our mothers, when you get a first child, they want to give you the care, their hand, their best. They will bath their baby, they'll cook, they'll do everything. They'll ask you to go and rest. You go and rest. When it's time for you to go and breastfeed, then you go and breastfeed. So my mom was there to do everything for me.
That's nice. That's good. And that's, you emphasize the point of help as well when they come through for you. But Laura, when we even started the conversation, you said for this issue, there's something like cognitive therapy, or
it's a therapy.
How do we help people find healing, and then what are some of the ways for we to treat PPD, and then can it go? Is it something that can, like, is curable and can go?
Yeah, PPD is curable. Okay. It can treat. That's why I said it can be treated through medication and also the psychotherapy. That's the cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a steps that they go through. Okay. So after the steps, you'll be able to come out from what you are going through. So the medications, I don't want to mention it because
people can go Please
so don't. You can ask for any help from any mental health practitioner or any psychologist, any hospital. You can go there and give out they are ever ready to help you out.
Okay, so it's as simple as walking in and saying that I just had a baby and I'm not feeling like myself, and from there they
will refer you to the mental health unit.
Okay.
So you can even come to the OPD per your conversation, per everything. They can ask you to go and see the mental health practitioner or the psychologist.
Okay.
So they will refer you to the mental health unit, and then they take the necessary steps there.
Yeah. I think it's good to know that you can just walk into the facility, describe what is going on, and then they will take it from
you. Ever ready to help you out.
That is good to know. Dennis, how can struggle? First of all, ask what in your opinion, what are some of the professional help they can get, and then how can a struggling mother take care of herself while caring for her baby?
Okay, so I think Laura has ironed out most of them. So to add, aside from the therapy, so what we do is with PPD, we start with management.
Okay.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to cure it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the realistic approach is management.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a mental issue.
Yeah.
And you don't just take a drug and so like it goes away. So it's a process. So we start with the cognitive behavioral therapy. We also do mother-child bonding therapy, interpersonal therapy, and if you are diagnosed, and depending on the spectrum on which you are, because to each how severe the symptoms are.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can be placed on maybe antidepressants, mood stabilizers, and as to some point you can even be placed on hormonal therapy.
Okay.
So those hormones that are maybe fluctuating and imbalanced, they are who put you on a hormonal therapy so that you can regulate those hormones in your system. And please, the subsequent question.
Yes, before I even ask you that, how do they diagnose it? Is it, do you take a test? Is it questions you answer for them to know?
Yeah, so with, just like most of the mental health issues, they are markers.
Okay.
So like we have DSM-5 for PPD, we use the DSM-5 guideline. So it's a list of like symptoms.
Okay.
So once you come, and those symptoms are behavioral traits, maybe suicidal thoughts, insomnia, inability to eat, lots of and those things. So we ask you those questions, and if you exhibit a number of them, then maybe your clinician might probably diagnose you of maybe PPD.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a blood test or anything.
Right.
Yeah, but we need to talk to you. Then we evaluate you based on the DSM-5 criteria. Yes, that's how we diagnose.
Okay, I think the other question was how can struggling mothers
yeah, so aside from seeking medical help, what you, the mother, can also do is that research indicates that if there's more skin-to-skin bonding or touching between the mother and the infant, it helps. So sometimes just go naked. Also make the child naked and put the child on your chest and your bosom for a while. Hug it. I know when you are experiencing PPD, there's a thought that truly be, but don't. Try as much as possible to always have skin-to-skin contact with your baby. It helps. And also, don't lose yourself during pregnancy. The things that made you happy prior, the life that you had, try and hold on to some of them. So when you are being helped out, when some of the chores are taken off your neck, try and do some of those things. If it's watching movies, listening to music or anything, try. See, it's difficult because when you are depressed, the will to even do those things doesn't exist. Yeah, but you need to make a conscious effort to also try as much as possible to make yourself happy and take your mind off some of these things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Laura, your final words to this woman and then any other woman that may be going through this before we go.
Okay, thank you for your question. So I know that PPD, as we are saying, is treatable. You can treat it. So any mother going through PPD can go to the hospital for proper assessment. We don't just give her the medication. Yes, you have to pass through the necessary assessment. We have the mental state examination. We have to go through. We take in personal history, pre-morbid personality. We have a lot to take before we give out the medication. So when it comes to counseling, for instance, the partner needs to be there. Both mom and dad needs to be there so that the education will go on well. So if the problem is from the woman takes it there. If it's from the man also takes in there. So what I want to say is that no woman should feel shy to seek for counseling, seek for guidance. We all go through a lot, and we all seek for guidance. But sometimes they need people that they will confide in it. Not everybody, because confidentiality. They don't want a case whereby they will speak out their problem, and the next day you go and hear it somewhere. So they need someone that they will confide, a trustworthy person that are able to share their ideas and thoughts. So no woman to feel shy. We, the mental health practitioners, we are ever ready to accept everybody. Yes.
Thank you so much, Laura. I think you're doing a good job. Dennis, your final words to anybody going through this. Okay,
so what I want to say to our lady in question is that you are not crazy, you are not mad, and you are not also alone. There's a solution and there's help available. So Laura mentioned that you can walk into mental health units. We also have NGOs.
Okay, so resources.
Resources available. So you can just go into the internet and search for Free Mind or Basic Needs International.
Free Mind
or Basic Needs.
Basic Needs International.
These are NGOs that offer mental health support to mothers that are experiencing PPD. Also, even at that district assembly level, now we have social officers and mental health officers at the district assemblies. So you can also work there and talk to any of them.
Okay.
Yes, and also try and associate and connect more with the people around you whenever you give birth. And the risk factors that we've mentioned, if you experience any of them, also try and be on the alert and also arm yourself before assessing.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I think you have done a fantastic job at discussing the story. Thank you, Laura, for coming. Thank you, Dennis. Laura is at the SDA hospital at Bawi. So even if you want to walk in and you are shy, you can ask for Laura. Laura Nyako.
Everybody's ever ready to speak.
Yes, you can ask for her and she will take you through whatever tests or any examination she would have to take you through. And if she has to refer you to, she'll find you the right people to help treat or manage the situation. Remember, it is not, you are not alone. It is not unheard of. You are not the only one that has a problem. Like Laura said from the beginning, in Ghana and Nigeria, 30 to 45, almost half of women are going through this problem. So it is more common than you think. And do not harm yourself, do not harm your baby. There is a solution for this problem. And for our society, let's do better. Let's stop passing judgment. Let's stop questioning why a woman has given birth and she doesn't want to care for her baby. Let's realize that there could be deeper issues there that we do not understand. And to any woman, please make sure you are going for your antenatal, right? Immediately you find out that you're pregnant. Sometimes some of these, like Dennis was mentioning, he said risk factors and amplifiers. Sometimes even through the conversation you have at these sessions, they can note that, okay, this person has this ability to, you know, prone to depression or whatever, and they'll keep an eye on you. And probably before you are discharged after your baby, they can give you some tips on how to go about it. And to our men, yes, the woman is the one carrying the pregnancy, but it is for the two of you. Clearly, without you, she couldn't have gotten pregnant. And so it's a responsibility for the man and the woman to come together and raise the child. So in instances where you can support, please do so. You see that your wife needs an hour or two nap, give it to her, carry the baby, feed the baby. Now people are pumping breast milk into bottles. Formulas are there for mothers who are not lactating as well as they want, or some even choose not to breastfeed. You know, everything is different now. So you don't need the presence of the mother to breastfeed a child. You can take the bottle while your wife sleeps and then you breastfeed your child. You too, you need the bonding some. Like Dennis was the chest to chest. You too, you need the bonding with your child. So do not make it the responsibility of just the women. Help out, and I'm sure that together as a society we can come out of this problem. Do not be ashamed. PPD is not a shameful disease. Just as you go to the hospital for a headache, you can go to the hospital for any mental health issue. We'll be back same time next week. Thank you so much for listening to our viewers out there. Thank you for always tuning in. Next week we have another exciting episode of Real Talk, but until then, continue to enjoy the rest of the content on Hope TV Ghana, and do have yourselves a lovely evening.